Hey Virgo, welcome to Divine Duality Tarot. My name is TJ. It is May and I have a love reading for you. What I do here is I try to do a pretty quick love reading to get a good idea of what's going on between you, Virgo, and your romantic interest, whoever this person may be. Oh man, it's always great to have something in your eye. So that way, when it comes to this situation that you're going into, you're going to have a little bit of forewarning, then no warning at all. Love that phrase. It fits. Everybody knows what it's like to walk into the absolute worst situation, having no clue what's going to happen or what's going on behind the scenes. So with these love readings, the goal is to I draw 2 for you, 2 for your partner, and then 2 for the reason that you two have this energy, the point of interest, the point of, what is the deep down reason that there is a problem. Get the focal point of all this energy that we're going to look into. Oh man. All right. Get 2 for your partner. And let's get 2 for the situation. I just want to know what's going on. Use this deck for asking these overall questions. I have this one here that is untouched except for just now, ready to clarify if any of these things don't quite make as much sense. Also, if there are any additional questions, I will consult that one. So Virgo, let's start with you. Go over these meanings, get the whole picture, and go from there. Leading off, you have the moon, which is clarity in a relationship. It's the truth coming to light. It is you've hit the darkness, but you're seeing the light, and now that you've seen the light, you know the night's eventually going to end, the sun's going to come up, and you're going to see things for what they are. That's a pretty cryptically clear way of wording that. Interesting metaphors. But the way that would, whatever the situation is, you've been able to wrap your mind around it. And it's causing you to have your 3 of Cups, which is celebration in emotion. This situation, you've had your eureka moment. You know where you're at, what needs to be done, and you're excited to move past this. This is one of those situations where if you've been arguing a lot, to finally understand why they have been a butthole, and you, Virgo, are now excited that, yes, I have the information I need. I'm excited. I can solve this problem, but you haven't solved it yet. You have the motivation, you have the clarity, but the issue is still there. Let's go over their energy, because this is why they're leading it out with the King of Swords, which is rational communication, which is the ability to convey their truth very well. But then they also have, oh my goodness, the 6 of Swords, which is moving on to calmer water. This person's already convinced of their own truth. This person's already, convinced that their way is the right way. So much so that any doubt that they had in themselves is going away. Now, those words on their own are great. Not doubting yourself, having that confidence. The problem is, are they actually right? Like, the truth and a truth are very different things. If they're on the highway and traffic is completely stopped up till they can't even see it anymore, where the traffic ends, first thing that more than likely any of us are going to come to the conclusion of is there's a wreck. There's a wreck on the highway. It's probably bad if that's why they have all the lanes blocked off. That is a truth. That is you coming to believe that, yeah, there's a wreck on the highway. That's why I'm behind. I'm sorry. But then when you get up to there and you see that there's just, 5 people that, there's 2 buses from 2 different schools side by side, and they got off the bus and are now having like a breakdance fight to see which school is better. That is the truth that has replaced a truth. And if that happens, please, 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 please get video of it and shoot me a link in the comments. Please, I have to see this with my own eyes. So you have somebody who is solidifying this truth in their mind. Now, let's go over what the actual issue is that's causing this. Oh my goodness. Starting out with the 7 of Pentacles, which is slowing down in the physical world. Slowing down, it could be, a lot of times, Pentacles represent money, can represent other things such as your own flesh and blood, because we do exist as physical beings in the universe. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. Come on, man. Come on. Anyway, my sincerest apologies. Slowing down in the physical world, understanding that you're not ahead of your means. Best way to describe that is you're bringing in decent money, your car breaks down, and you now have a car payment. And let's say just a basic number, let's just say it's $500 a month. That's $500 less that you had in disposable income. That is $500 less than you had to just go out and do whatever. All right? You still want good things. You have the Magician. The Magician is resourcefulness, it's power, it is being able to manifest things. What this is telling me is that burden is starting to enter this phase of the relationship. Burden is starting to become a problem. And as is, they are getting the mentality that this is what it is, deal with it. You, on the other hand, you're trying to find the best in this situation to even find a way out. You may be the one, let's just go back to the $500 car payment thing. And it's a completely fictional scenario, but I'm trying to give you the best deep reasoning that I possibly can. The $500 car scenario. You know that money's starting to get stretched. They're just accepting it as is. You, on the other hand, are seeing that you have 13 bills that are completely frivolous, and adding up all together, it's like $250. And you know that you haven't used a streaming service in 2 years, and it's $50 a month. Why are you still paying for that? If you get rid of it, and you get rid of the other frivolous things that you're not even using, then you are now only paying $250 for that car. I mean, you're still paying $500, but you are now freed up $250. So you are only down $250. You still have $250 excess. You're not in as bad of a situation. You realize that there are other ways out. You have that eureka moment. We can make this work. But they are so set in this, it is what it is, that it's going to be really hard to get them motivated to do better. Does that sound about right? Because that's what I'm seeing here. Does that sound like you, Virgo? You have somebody who is got their feet planted. There's no better way to do things. It is what it is. And they're so good at communicating that it's atrocious. Like, there's no getting through to them because they have worked this truth into their mind so well that it's reality. That's what I'm seeing. So I'm going to ask some questions. Just a couple questions. I like to keep these short and simple because I know you got stuff you want to do, but we know where we're at now. I like how at the bottom of the deck, first thing I see is the devil. But the questions that I'm going to ask this and see what happens if you push. What is the most extreme thing that can happen, the most likely situation, if Virgo pushes this new idea as is? You go with exactly how you're feeling right now, and how does this go over when you have this big talk? Or it's a hard question to really wrap my mind around, because there's so much here that's going on with you, and I don't want to give you like a half-assed answer. Okay. Exact. What happens to Virgo? What is the most likely outcome for Virgo if our Virgo voices this new profound idea onto this person, their romantic interest, whose mind is pretty much made up? Okay? And what happens if you don't? What happens if you don't? What happens if they don't listen? Got vastly different answers. More or less, this is, do they listen or do they don't? Do they don't? That's an interesting one right there. That's a good sentence. Remember that one. Do they don't? Do they listen? Do they not listen? First answer, you act. Six of Wands, victory, power couple. This is your will showing through. and the understanding that you can do this. And two minds working together can manifest and cancel this one out. Make things speed back up. Get back ahead of the game. It's also creating a new truth. You see how these swords are coming up pretty often when it comes to them, when it comes to you interacting with them. But this is creating a new truth. This is the death of an old truth, the creation of a new one. And this new truth is followed up by this Two of Cups, which is partnership and union. If you can get through to them, if you can get past their cold reasoning, if you can get past their rationality, you can really make good things happen. It's going to be an uphill battle because this is not the first time you've had this battle. This is not the first time that you've recognized the situation, but this is the first time that you've had a way out. Trust your gut, go with it, because there is a way out. You just need to find a way to get through to them. As if you can, and show them that this old truth is not the truth. Show them that it's not a car wreck in the distance. Show them that there is literally a dance-off going on in the middle of the highway. And it is awesome. It's making you late for whatever this is you're trying to do, but it's hard to be mad when there's people spinning on their heads on the highway. And you got another one breakdancing in the corner, throwing their arms out wild and doing the robot, which I'm not even going to try to do because it's embarrassing. I've tried. Didn't go over very well. When this is going on, create that new truth. Show them the truth. It might come down to you going ahead and just canceling that subscription and saying, hey, I just saved us $50. And lead them. Do you think there's other things we can do to, help out? To maybe make this less burdensome? And they have to stop and think, wait a minute. I didn't even realize we had that streaming service that was $50. Maybe things aren't exactly as I thought they were. Suddenly, idea. We can make it better. Virgo comes out on top. Now, flip side of it. Virgo, they get their way. You just decide, oh well, I'm not worried about it. You have the Four of Pentacles, which is stability. And then you have the Three of Pentacles, which is success in the physical world. Together, those things sound great. Having stability, financial stability, since this one seems to be about some kind of financial situation that's really burdening both of you, some kind of physical world situation, could be like house repairs or something that's burdening both of you and keeping you from seeing eye to eye. Those two things together, you would think, oh, that's awesome. But you have this Five of Wands, which is overwhelmed in drama. What this is telling me is you two will always be unclear on what being ahead really means. They're going to see success as surviving. You're going to see success as thriving. And you will, until whatever this situation is addressed and fixed, you will always be burdened by that disagreement on what success is. What is success in this relationship when it comes to this situation? Is the situation focusing, working overtime and paying off a bill early? Is the situation, is success here just letting it ride, and in 15 years, the bill will be paid plus 25% in interest, meaning that you paid 1 1/4, you have purchased 1 1/4 vehicle, pretty much. I love interest. But that $500 doesn't go away. Yeah, you may refinance it later on down the road. This is not a financial reading. It really isn't. I promise you that. I've tried them before. It was not very plentiful in, it was not very beneficial. It didn't quite make sense to me. But you do have to understand, Virgo, that money is so important in life. You cannot eat without it. And I mean, you can grow your own stuff, but you can't go out and eat without money. You can't go do fun things without money. You can't drive across town without money. If you don't have gas in your vehicle, or you don't have bus fare, or your bike tires are flat and you don't have a pump, you would have to have money for a pump, or you go to a gas station and use an air pump, but you don't have money to operate the stuff. Everything requires money. When we don't have a lot of it, we worry. We become bored. We become withdrawn because we don't know what to do. You know, you can't do anything fun, or you're behind on your bills. Now you're withdrawn, you're bored, you're worried, you're nervous. Are you even gonna have a house over your head? When we have those negative emotions, that radiates. Everybody knows that person at work. Everybody knows that person in their life that's always worried and complaining. I wish I had more money to do this. I wish I had the money to go on that cruise. I wish I had the money to buy a new car. And you want to sympathize with them. But oh my goodness, just shut up. You know, that's that type of person. You don't want to be around that, because that negativity is a drag. It drags us down. It's a bummer. It's a bummer in all ways. So more or less, is that going to be success though? It doesn't have to be. That's what this is saying. It doesn't have to be that lame, insignificant version of success. It can be an outstanding, powerful success if you do something about it. That's on you. Virgo, I know it's a tall order. It's not going to be easy. I promise you that. I hate to be blunt about it. I wish I could give you, an easy answer as if it was going to be simple, but I know, we all know, especially about how that person is, this is going to be an uphill battle. But you do know that you can succeed if you do it. Don't give up, because if you give up, then this is it. Success will not be there, at least as you know it and as you expect it. If you want things to go right, just resolve, keep it. That success is there, it's yours. You just have to get it. You just have to reach out and grab it. And they're standing in the way. So you have to make them see. I wish it would be easy, but this is one of those situations that hard work will pay off. You just got to do it. And Virgo, you can. You can do this. You truly can. You truly can do this. All right? So I won't take up any more of your time. other than to thank you for watching the video. I really do appreciate you spending this time with me to hear what I have to say. I really do hope it helps you. I hope that, you know, you're able to wrap your mind around the situation and make the best choices to better your life. All right, Virgo. So with that, I'll catch you next time.